everyone, and welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The Planning and Zoning Commission is a citizen advisory group to the City Council charged with making recommendations concerning land use plans, planning processes, and or on matters of plan implementation. All regular meetings of the Planning and Zoning Commission are recorded for record retention and transcription. The following is the official agenda of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Discussion and commission action will be limited to those items on the agenda. Any citizen who wishes to address the commission shall first be recognized by the chair and shall give his or her name and address for the record. If a citizen wishes to read documentation of any sort to the commission, he or she shall first seek permission from the chair. Oral testimony may be restricted to no more than 3 minutes per person. Agenda item number 1 is the roll call and disclosure of conflict of interest, ex parte communication, and site visit. So Aislinn, if we could have you call the roll, and if each commissioner would please state their name, what area they live in, and anything they need to disclose.
Jared Burnt.
My name is Jared Burnt. I live in the Highland area. I made a visit to agenda item number 3, and I have nothing else to report.
Jack Moore.
My name is Jack Moore. I live in the Old Town District, and I have nothing else to report.
Sarah O'Connor.
My name is Sarah O'Connor. I live in the College neighborhood, and I have nothing else to report.
Dorothy Ricks.
My name is Dorothy Ricks. I live in the Alameda area. I too made a site visit, and I have nothing else to report.
Julia Sanders.
My name is Julia Sanders. I live in the South Park area. I've previously done a site visit to agenda item number 3 and have nothing further to report.
And Ryan Satterfield.
I'm Ryan Satterfield from the Highland area. I also did a site visit on agenda item number 3 and have nothing else to report. All right, agenda item number 2 is approval of minutes. Commissioners, I assume you've reviewed the minutes. Any discussion on the minutes or a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Very good. Aislinn, would you call the vote?
Moore.
Yes.
O'Connor.
Yes.
Burnt.
Yes.
Ricks.
Yes.
Sanders.
Yes.
Satterfield.
Yes. Motion carries. Agenda item number 3, public hearing, zoning map amendment. This time has been set aside for the Commission to hear comments from the public regarding a request from Portneuf Development, LLC, to rezone 2 parcels of vacant land north of East Chubbuck Road and west of Olympus Drive from residential medium density single family and commercial general to residential commercial professional. Comprehensive plan land use map change from commercial, residential, and public to mixed use is also proposed at this time. So with that, we will open the public hearing and ask if we can hear from the applicant.
Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Chris Adams. My office is at 611 Wilson Avenue in Pocatello, Idaho, 83201. And I am the owner of Creek Hall & Associates. And I'm a land surveyor here in town and working and representing Portneuf Development tonight on this request for the land use map amendment and the zoning request we have before you. First of all, we don't have a lot to add. You have in front of you the packet that we submitted. I think I just would touch base on item 1 and just reiterate that to you, that how the requested zoning at the location in question would be in the community's best interest. And as I stated in my response, that the proposed zoning comprehensive plan map change would be beneficial to the community by providing a much needed high density housing and mixed usability that the RMS zone and commercial zone currently limits. And this zoning will lend to diversity and allow varying densities of residential, commercial, and professional development in that area. And then down to item number 2, just below that, how the list of uses permitted by the zoning ordinance would blend with the surrounding land uses. in a nutshell that the zones west and east of the proposed area that we're asking to rezone from RMS to RCP, those zones east and west of that are currently RCP zoned, and the zone north of that is commercial general. So the rezone will fill a gap between those existing RCP zones and allow a continued zoning through the whole south end of the development that we're working very diligently at. And then just the rest of those items are kind of redundant in the fashion that they kind of reiterate the same thing. East and west zones are the same zoning that we're trying to rezone to. And then just kind of the final thing on the page 5 of 5 and the item number 2 there, just to kind of recap, this request for a comprehensive plan change is to match the current zoning of the surrounding zones and to better suit the compatibility of development needs in which the mixed use will provide, and to try to help and fulfill our development goal is to have that intermixed use of residential, commercial, and professional combination intermixed all together, and help provide that goal that we're trying to achieve with work here, play here, entertain here, shop here kind of feel. And that RCP zone would allow us that flexibility to have that higher density homes, some professional intermixed in there, and hopefully satisfy some needs of some interest that we have coming down the road. And if you will turn in the packet, there's these maps here, and I just wanted to touch base on that. You can see that some future plans, if there's a question as to how are we going to connect all this together, that we are currently working to submit a preliminary plat very soon on this area here, contingency upon.
I didn't see that. Which
rezone.
area?
Huh?
Which area?
So I'm just pointing out that all of this area that we've requested for rezone, that we will be replat or putting in a preliminary plat for all of this area very soon. And in that process, you'll be able to potentially see Fairgrounds Road going north. Hartford, which is part of Development Crossings Division 1, is already under construction. It terminates right here at that division line, but will continue over and connect to Fairgrounds Road, so they'll have some connectivity there going on. And then off of Olympus, which is already constructed, there is an approach that has been already constructed right there for future plans to bring a future road across from Olympus all the way over to Fairgrounds Road. So that would help and supply some roads and connectivity to help mitigate the zoning changes that we're proposing. Any questions for me?
Any questions, Commissioners? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Carl, if we could get the staff report.
Good evening, Commission. Carl Anderson, City of Pocatello Planning Department, for the record. As noted in the agenda and detailed by the applicant, the request is a zone map and comprehensive plan land use map amendment to rezone the subject property from the existing residential medium density single family and commercial general to residential commercial professional. The proposed zone change requires a concurrent amendment to the comprehensive plan land use map to mixed use from the current residential and commercial designations. The subject property to be rezoned includes 32.4 acres of RMS zoning and 5.95 acres of commercial zoning, more or less, located within the what was known as the Northgate annexation or Northgate development, north of Chubbuck Road and west of Olympus Drive. In addition to the request being considered, staff is advising that the public lands designation on the comprehensive plan, 21.04 acres more or less, be amended at this time to be consistent with the existing residential medium density, residential commercial professional zoning designation that is currently overlying that designation on the comp plan. At this time, all noticing requirements have been met and no public comment has been received. In consideration of the application and proposed development, staff concludes that the proposed zoning map amendment and comprehensive plan land use map amendment are compliant with Pocatello Municipal Code section 1702-180 and 1702-120 and will not create any nonconformities of development proposals approved to date. A full analysis is detailed within the staff report, and I can answer any questions that the commission may have on that analysis. Should the commission recommend approval of the subject application, staff recommends that the conditions listed in the staff report, items 1 through 5, with an amendment to number 3, removing the reference to commercial designations on the comprehensive plan. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to stand for any questions that the commission may have. Meryl Quayle of our engineering department is also here to answer any questions that the commission has.
Thank you, Carl. Any questions for Carl? Okay, thank you. All right, we will now receive public testimony. If there's anybody that would like to come forward and speak in favor or neutral or even opposed to this application, if you'd please come forward, state your name and what area you live in. Okay, seeing none, we will. Any, no rebuttal? Very good. Okay, with that, we will close the public hearing. Commissioners, it's before you. Discussion on the item?
Seems very logical and makes sense to me.
I think if it would have come forward this way at the beginning, there wouldn't necessarily be a question. We likely would have approved it that way.
I think when this was initially presented, part of the presentation talked about how this planned development is supposed to encourage walkability, reduce vehicular traffic, and having an RCP designation will absolutely encourage and foster that movement.
Any other discussion, or I would entertain a motion if somebody wanted to make one. We can play paper, rock, scissors.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for the Portneuf LLC to rezone the property in question. And it does meet the standards for approval of municipal code if the staff conditions are met with the change on number 3 with no longer referencing commercial. Did I say that?
I'll second.
Very good. It's been moved and seconded. Aisling, would you call that vote? And did you get that motion okay?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
O'Connor,
Yes.
Ricks,
Yes.
Burnt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Satterfield.
Yes, motion carries. That concludes our meeting. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
It is.